laugh at this next part.
In a world of political correctness and cancel culture, two comedians have risen up to prove that with the right angle, anything can be funny. This is You Can't Laugh at That.
Who writes these? We should have this person locked up and looked at.
Live from Golden Ox Studios in Cleveland, Ohio, it's Steve Mers and David Horning. On this week's episode,
just the ridiculousness of it is what turns it into a great, joke. And sometimes you lose that, when you're trying to make this point about cheating or something like that, that you gotta always remember that, bring that, be a comic, be a funny person, find the ridiculousness in, yeah.
You can't laugh at that.
Today's guest is Michael Moses, a comedian out of Toronto.
Hey.
Where are you from originally?
I'm more West Coast, kind of Alberta above Montana. I don't know if you guys know it. I don't want to, say. I don't want to say dumb Americans, you don't know nothing. How would you ask me that question if you don't know? But not I'm from Alberta originally, but I've been out here for 7 years. Yeah, just doing comedy. Going after comedy, not just doing got a day job and stuff, but going after that comedy. Yeah, this is probably the best place to be in Canada. With people. Worst place to be during COVID, but best place for comedy in Canada. So
you got to earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it, right? So came out here 7 years ago, been going at it. But originally from a small town in very country. They got the Stampede is huge, Cowboys and hockey and chew, spitting and that, bar fights. That's the place where I'm from originally.
The Texas of Canada.
The Texas of Canada, yeah, the Texas retarded brother. Or this younger brother who really wants to be Texas, but that's it.
Okay, all right. Did you start doing comedy out there?
No, I didn't. There was nothing. Actually, this is good. There was no comedy kind of in the small town that I was in at all. And there was Calgary is a bigger city around where they did have comedy, but it didn't even register that they did have comedy. So I knew it was either Vancouver or Toronto. And I actually went to Vancouver first and kind of stepped on stage for the first time out there. And then, those first, and then just had 7 sets that were all bombs and whatnot. And I was okay, moved back home for a little bit and then moved out to Ontario here. But there's a club that opened up in the small town I'm from, Lethbridge, and they opened up the last 2 weekends in May. They opened up and across the country, nothing's open, no club. But this one club in the small town where I'm from, where I didn't start comedy, it opened last year. I messaged the dude and I was like, yo, man, if I come through for a month, can I get stage time? He's like, yeah, man, we'll give you all the stage time you want. So I was able, all of June, I went back, played at Good Times Comedy for a month. They ran a Tuesday open mic and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 shows. And I jumped as many shows as I could. And it was, it was perfect. The girlfriend's got flight benefits. So I got to get over there for $86. I got to work from home still. So it was a nice little month to come back. And now there's some patio shows. And I did a show in a park yesterday and not as rusty as the rest of the comics. I'll say that for sure.
All right. No, you got to shake off that rust for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Also joining us, as always, is the co-host of You Can't Laugh at That, Steve Mers. How you feeling, Steve?
Feeling good.
Yeah. Staying isolated.
Every time my allergies flare up, I'm worried I have COVID. And I know that's that's very common for people to say, but it's true. So
yeah, that little fear in the back of your mind.
I'll go to bed thinking I definitely have COVID. I'll wake up feeling $1 million. Nope, definitely don't have it. So it's happened
you look at you could have that face that feels sick all the time. People look at you and go, "Are you okay?" And you're you could be completely fine, but people are are you okay?
Yeah. I get the, "Hey Steve, you're really stoned." And I'll be no, I'm not.
Yeah. There's stoned or sick. Yeah.
Thanks for telling me I look tired.
Yeah.
Good comment.
Worst one is heroin. They're always Steve, they're "Why are you bags under your eyes?" I'm these have been here since I was 7 years old. You think I was doing heroin when I was 7?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe, though,
Everybody's got a story.
Right.
Michael, today we are going to talk about cheating.
Yes, sir.
And what made you decide on that topic?
Man, I've been I'm in this relationship, and it's weird. You go out and you see all these girls and stuff, and I'm going back home and seeing old high school flings and all these people, and I just kind of it was like something on my mind. Like, I'm in a relationship, but I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't thought about it. And I was just like, all right, what if just like one of those things, those challenge. You always make a stupid dick joke, or like, what if what joke is somebody not doing? What if I could make you cheating funny? Definitely I've been cheated on jokes, but what if I'm like, all right, let me try to take that on as something that let's see if I could make people laugh. So I decided to go after that's the thing. After being in a committed relationship, I'm like, what if I can joke? Let me joke about, maybe that'll help me not do it if I can joke about it.
How does your girlfriend feel about that?
She as long as it's not real, it's fine. Those jokes. There's only a few things she says I'm not allowed to joke about, and fortunately enough, this isn't one of them. So, as long as I think she probably thinking the same way. As long as you joke about it but don't do it. Good.
I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah. I'm just joking.
Well, I'm kidding.
It's a joke. Yeah. I could go to do it and stuff. I'd be like, no, I was just doing research for the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like method acting,
but yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, and people really, and I think it's happening a lot. I think cheating is out there. A lot of people, are doing it. So I just I wonder if I do that in a room full of people, how it would go, and just because when you're at a club or something and there's 100 people, I'm sure there's somebody cheating in that room, and so it's been fun, and I'm just having fun, trying to make it a funny explosive joke,
But that's the thing. It's like the forbidden fruit. Like, once you're in a relationship, you start thinking about that, even though you have no intention on acting.
Right.
It's there. It's almost like when you're in church or in school or something, you're not allowed to laugh, and that's all you want to do. You just start seeing all the things that are funny. Whereas, you're in a relationship, you just start seeing all these single women. It's like, what? Why is this happening?
And it's different for comedy. I'm sure if my life was more. There is a routine to it, but it's also different. You're doing different shows. You're doing the same shows, but sometimes different people come. There's different girls there. You're hanging out with the comics after the show, and you have a good set, and people, you feel good about yourself. People coming up with compliments, a girl comes up and says, "Hey, nice set," So, and you're always traveling, I'm going to Cleveland and meet people, and I'm going around to places. So. If I just had a desk job where the only person possibly cheat on was some overweight secretary, that's easy choice to just go back home to a girl, right? But comedy is a different thing where a lot of temptations and everything come your way. It's always stay for a drink, always smoke this, always what do you want to do with this. So girls, and I'm sure for even female comics, all these guys there going, I'm sure there's temptation there as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest ego stroke that I can get is for somebody to come up to me and tell me I'm funny.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And we're comedians, that insecure part of us that wanted laughter, wanted to make that girl in class laugh. And then it happens, and she comes up and says, or anybody comes up and says, "You're funny." You're like, wow, okay. Yeah, it's big.
Are we dating now? Is that what?
Yeah. We best friends. You gonna follow me on stuff and share my posts, and we hanging out on Tuesdays?
Yeah, it's funny that your brain goes there almost right away.
For sure.
So you sent. It's just a kind of a quick one-off joke, but. Let's play it. Get to know a little bit of Michael's comedy, and then we'll kind of dive into a little more behind that joke and a couple other comics as well to get some alternate perspectives on it. Jeremy is gonna load that bad boy up. This is Michael's clip.
Good. I was eating a sandwich. You know the White House sandwich, right? Lettuce, tomato, Black Forest ham, and maybe another meat, mayonnaise all in it, right? I was eating a hell of a bit. I was enjoying it. And then Shaquille O'Neal came on the screen, famous black guy, right? And comes on and he goes, "Hey, black people don't eat mayonnaise." Like it was a PSA for myself, you know? Like, I just walked on. Black people don't eat mayonnaise, and I spit out the sandwich. I was like, "Mom, are you trying to poison me?" Shaquille O'Neal said black people don't eat mayonnaise. And so that's what it is. Now there's another black guy out here, Charlemagne the God. He's big in the hip-hop community, Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, right? And he's out here and he's like, black men don't cheat. That's what he's saying, black men don't cheat. And I'm just like, okay, I guess we're just not enjoying anything anymore, okay?
You can't laugh at that.
What a jump.
Yeah.
From mayonnaise on sandwiches to cheating.
It's comfortable. Yo, thanks for those 75 views, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the podcast just getting it loaded up.
Yeah. Those were mostly me.
Yeah, analyzing the bit. You know, you're doing deep research.
Yeah,
Every word.
One was me.
Now, do you dive in deeper into that topic from there, or do you move on to something else?
I've been trying to, and it's been a struggle, but I've been trying to just use those two examples of Shaq and Charlemagne, right? That they're two rich black guys, so they have the luxury of not eating mayonnaise and not cheating, right? Like for Shaq, like you don't even have to eat sandwiches. That's how rich you are, right? Like when's the last time you actually had a sandwich? And Charlemagne can now afford like family vacations, you know, and stuff. I listened to his podcast. So he's always going to Angola. You'd have to, but he can afford to do family vacations and afford to do all these things where you maybe, you don't need to. But like as a, poor black kid, all the the only excitement you really have is the taste of another woman's sandwiches, So. I've been trying to figure that out, or sometimes it go good, but that's how deep I've gone. But yeah, so I'll probably go deeper again. But it's like, okay, let that first little bit get that laugh. Hopefully, this gets a laugh, and then take it that step further, and then remove whatever junk it doesn't need. But but I've been doing a bit where on the. I can kind of bring it up and on low nights, like a Thursday night, Wednesday night, I can make fun of people that are at the show. Like everybody here is cheating, right? You don't bring your main girl to the Tuesday open mic.
Yeah.
But so that I've been doing that, but that's as far as I've kind of now. It's one of those bits I'm like, all right, and a bit you're unsure of, but still want to work. You almost sometimes, if you don't write it down in your set list, you almost forget to say it. Another new joke comes. But yeah, I've been trying to make that a funny joke about. I just want to try to make cheating funny. I just that would be wow. He made cheating funny. Yeah, great. He made for you to cheat funny, right? Not getting cheated on. So I've been hopefully trying to get something fun. And you got to remember the silliness of it too, right? When you're trying to do one of these jokes that are, you got to always remember to be silly and be a comic and find some kind of something in there. But I've been, that's a joke I've been working on. So and
especially in that case where you're not coming across as a good dude. So you got to,
right, exactly.
You got to open it with something lighthearted, like the
mayonnaise. I grew up eating the sandwiches that my mom made me, and And then Shaq said, and I was like, So I'm trying to, exactly. You got to make it light, and I think that's where the joke may come from, is the spontaneousness of it, of just whoa, that came from left field,
Right. It was a quick jab. And it's one of those jokes where they're laughing before they even it registers what they're laughing about.
Right. So that's how you get them. Yeah.
Right. So then from there on out, the challenge is keeping them in as you build your case.
Right. Yeah. Build the case for. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, you're gonna be in a room full of people trying to you have that imagine that you tell a joke and people cheer and carry you out the room. So yeah. And then carry you back into the room because there's another comic on after you.
Yeah.
But
why don't we just leave?
Yeah. But so it's I'm trying to you build your case for it. Maybe Tiger Woods wasn't a bad guy or something. There's probably some that go through all the history of the cheaters out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's, and then even now, like current events, like Will Smith and Jada,
right?
For example, I mean,
right. And that's like the biggest. Yeah, I'm like, look at the biggest couple that's like out there in the world, like besides Jay-Z and Beyonce. Yeah, for sure. Jada and Will Smith. Like the coolest dude, like Fresh Prince, you could run, and just like one of the coolest dudes, decides to take over social media and takes over social media. If Jada can't, I think at the Park Show, a comic had a joke. He's like that. He's like, yo, man, if Will Smith, like the coolest dude, can't keep a bald black bitch, it's what's everybody else supposed to do if Will Smith can't keep somebody? Very interesting.
Right. I mean, you could even, find a way to write it from the perspective of Jada. Like, why would you cheat on somebody like Will Smith with August Alsina? Like, of all people?
Exactly. Like,
if it was John Cena, okay, whatever.
Right. Fine. Yeah, Will Smith can sing to you too. Like, there's nothing another dude can't do that Will Smith can't do. You want somebody. Will Smith will learn any instrument he needs to play. He'll do a Rubik's Cube in front of you. That's impressive, right?
Yeah. Will Smith is just like, how can I figure out how to be the best at everything?
Right.
So,
right.
He did a stand-up. Show not too long.
I saw that. Yeah. And that was but it was good to see all these comics, Chappelle and even they'll kind of give him some notes. And it's interesting. He did try to do some stand-up in an episode of The Fresh Prince. Like D.L. Hughley was like a guest, and then Will Smith went up there and bombed. But that's cool. Yeah, it was fun to anything to stand up and Will Smith. I'm clicking on that for sure.
Now, this was I don't know too much about this, but I feel like they have almost a polyamorous relationship anyway.
Right.
I mean, if you read and listen to interviews with him, he has a very transcendent perspective of what life is.
Yeah.
And so, just the monogamous thing, I think he realized, if you're going to cheat on Will Smith, if you're going to cheat on somebody, it better be Will Smith because he's already on that level where he's like, this means nothing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, very interesting to bring it out on that show though, and maybe they have that relationship, but you never with everybody coming out on everybody, you think there'd be some girls that came out and be like, yo, Will Smith and me 2 years ago, so no. Will, I don't know. Maybe Will knows how to keep them quiet,
Right. NDAs.
Yeah.
NDAs.
Lawsuits.
Yeah. His NDAs, he's got the thing. Yeah.
He just brings out a clone of his past self to do it for him.
Yeah. But it's Will Smith and Jada.
Man.
But I think Hollywood's probably like that. It's gotta be tough,
Yeah.
Oh, then you throw in all the pedophile rings, and it's really complicated.
It's the pedophile rings. That's the top, but then there's the cheating and the polygamy, and then there's
not cheating if they're under 18. That's
Laughing.
Reggie Watts was cheating on his own fans by going to a gun range. And he went to a gun range, and I was defending him, hey, it's not I could get into this. I'm not going to waste your guys' time, but he responded to me though. And I was like, yes, my favorite comedian responded to me. It was the coolest thing. I saw it this morning.
You came to his defense.
Right. I did.
Yeah. That's funny.
He was cheating on his fans. And that's a topic that we can dive into even further. Is cheating doesn't even necessarily mean on a romantic partner too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There are different levels of it,
it's the opposite side of the political spectrum. Well, seemingly he wasn't, but people freaked out because they don't see the nuance in it.
No, there's no nuance in today's world of social media gratification anymore.
Reggie's a good dude. I don't know why everybody's like, why are you changing sides? He's not. He just bought a gun. Who cares? Get over it.
It's funny that people we need Reggie on our side. Like he's such this pole in the, you know,
right.
in
Like
the race
anywhere.
that, you know, whichever side Reggie, that's a lot of votes.
Yeah.
It's like trying to recruit like LeBron James to your basketball team.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the X factor.
Reggie's gonna really change your team to the championship, take your team to the, you know, finals.
We're not worried about swing states anymore. It's Reggie Watts.
It's Reggie Watts for
one person.
Yeah.
It's not even like he's got to be on some political spectrum. It's just he's a reasonable guy. He's not like I mean, from what I can see, he seems like a good dude. So I don't see why.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Politicizing him,
right?
But yeah.
But that goes. I want to go back into the audiences not, you know, catching on to the nuances of jokes and bits and things like that. Like, how do you overcome that with a topic like cheating? You know,
it's very weird because like it's just like. And almost it used to be maybe now it's a change, like, you know, something like maybe comedy will change, like you because you can't really explain a bit, right? It takes away from it. You can't sit down and really like talk it out and why get in, and you can't, you know, if you have a joke that you try to tell and then they go and then you go, see, it's funny, because then it's just, you know, it's not funny anymore. You can't do that. So I don't know.
Right.
I think you definitely have to I think for jokes, now with no nuance, you can't just say shit for shock value anymore. You have to be well educated on the subject. You have to do some research. You have to come up with all those metaphors. That's a lot like blah, 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 blah. You know, that's a lot like, you know, you got to do all these comparisons and give, and then, but maybe it makes it good. The comics will have more time now because that clip right there is a minute 30. Now it's going to be 7 minutes because, just constantly, you know, showing out examples, throwing out comparisons, you know, trying to, you know, defend it, you know, but like, look like that. So maybe it changes like that. Comics, you can't just say something to say something now, because people are going, oh, you mean this? Like you said these words, but none of the words you said was what you meant this, and so you gotta really explain it. And then, you know, when people come at you, they can't come out at you with that because you've explained it well enough, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Make your argument undeniable, and there's nothing they can
and then finding the humor in that way. But you gotta do more. You're gonna have to be more curious about it. You can't just, you know, have this joke about it. You have to actually like look into it. Go talk to somebody who, you know, is a cheater or is a pedophile. You gotta go do something.
Gotta go interview a pedophile.
Yeah. That's why comics will have, you know, the podcast, so they can have all these people on that they can talk to for an hour and a bit, and be like, okay, cool. Now I know a little bit. Now I can make this into a joke because I've talked to a serial murderer. You know, like talked to somebody who's, you know, killed somebody. So now I can have a joke about serial murders.
So now I'm basically an expert. It's like I've done it.
Yeah, it's like that. You know, I'm just at the cats. You know, I started with the bugs. Kill my cat. I haven't done, but I know what it feels like.
Yeah, I've flayed a cat on a fence.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different episode. Cheating turned into serial murder. That's, I mean, who knows?
It's a slippery slope. You know, everything's a gateway to something now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you know, with this joke, like if you do the right analogies, the right metaphors, the right similes, you can almost make people forget that they're laughing at something that they're like really opposed to.
And then, because that's, I think, the, you know, some of the part of the comedy is just, you got to find that ridiculousness in it, right? That insignificant ridiculousness in it. So by doing that, you'll find that, and you'll just go silly. You know, it's just that free flow of thought and free flow of stuff like starts here, but then it gets wild, you know, and then people are rolling. Yeah, I totally forgot that was a joke about cheating at all. Yeah.
Right. You shot us a bit by Patrice O'Neal, and I think that's a good segue into that because he does that masterfully in this. And we're going to play the whole bit just because you have to kind of follow the thread through the whole bit and what he's trying to say.
Right.
So good.
It's so good.
And this is probably the prime example of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
If you've listened to Patrice's on anything, his Opie and Anthony appearances, his comedy, definitely, you know, a a guy that is on the side of men always, you know. And,
Yeah.
Yes. So, I could go off on Patrice, but like to have him alive now would be amazing in these times, in these, you know. But just a guy that's on the side of men, and you know, and trying to make women really understand, you know, what men are. So that's kind of that might be a good intro for it.
Yeah, it's a great intro. All right, here it is. Patrice O'Neal, Cheating. This is from his Comedy Central special.
If you want to understand men, ladies, I'm here for you. I'm just telling you what we are. You know, not who we are, what we are. Just like what we are that makes us struggle. And really, men are perfect creatures except for, you know, one. Like if most women would want to be a man, if you didn't have to give up that power that you have, which is our weakness. That's our weakness. It's very difficult. I'm telling you, man. Like, I don't want to be with other women, ever. Like, I want to just walk down the street and go, I never need to look at another woman again because I'm with the last woman I'm ever going to be with. And I'm like, but it ain't real. It's just... Like, no guy wants to cheat and hurt his woman, man. That hurts. First of all, think about what cheating is for a second, ladies. Cheating is a man. He sneaks out of his own house to go like find some happiness behind your back so your feelings aren't hurt. Cheating is for you. It's not for me. We don't want to hurt you. If you give a lie detector test to a man and a woman and ask them the same questions, man, we would pass them both up to a point where it's like, hey, ask a woman, you love your man, you love your family, you love your home, you love what you built? Yep. All right. You see Brad Pitt or Denzel Washington or whatever standing there, would you risk everything you built with your man just to sleep with him? And women, look, they go, nah, I wouldn't. And they'll pass the test. They be like, you know, they look good, but I wouldn't. Ask guys the same thing, you know, boom, love your woman, the kids, the house. Yeah. You see that girl passed out behind the dumpster? Would you risk everything for a passed out woman behind a dumpster? I don't want to, but look at her with garbage on. She looks so cute with garbage on. We're like, I'm trying to like make it so women just like understand a little bit of like just to sympathize. It's like we're like sport fishermen. This is what I'm saying. Men like to fish. And sport fishing is different from catching fish for food. You just get it, you catch it, and you show your friends. Because you want them to know that you can catch fish. You take a couple of pictures so you can show people the fish that you have the ability to catch. And then you release it back into the water. But a lot of women in here, you have boyfriends or husbands, you a fish that jump back on the boat and just was like flapping, looking at me like, hi, I was wondering if you're gonna be fishing here again next week. Like, yeah, for other fish, get off my boat. Is that how you treat all the fish? You'd be like, oh, God damn. Nope, I'm sorry, sweetie. You're the last fish I ever wanted to be with. Now you stuck. You're stuck with the last fish who was loving you and fighting hard to be on your boat. Then she got comfortable, and now instead of doing this, she's like, so we've been together for like a year now. Why do you still have a boat? You'd be like, so what's she trying to say? I can't catch fish no more? Why do you need to catch a fish? Because if I lose my ability to catch fish, then you're not gonna find me sexy no more. So you gotta smell fish on me so that you know I can catch fish so you can act right. That's like, guys, you meet your girl, she was a hoe. Like, had whole, like, she big old booty and this and that. You gotta let her do that. Don't start trying to frump her up and get her fat and get her foul. Because that's why you like her. I don't want no woman that no other guy's trying to. I don't want a woman that I can send to the store at 2 a.m. because nobody's gonna try to rape her. Like, I go get some bread at 3 a.m. Hey, cut through the alley, bitch, because I talk to the junkies. They don't want it. They don't like it.
So great.
Such a good bit. When I was the first time I was watching it, I was like, all right, where do I cut?
Right.
Can't, because it's just a full, like, just completed, perfect chunk.
Yeah. You were asking me that question, like, yo, what do comics have to do? And I was to explain it, and then Patrice just did it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, think of all the examples. The boat is hilarious. And then to switch it to, like, yo, men can cheat, but women, you got to be looking too, like, you could cheat too, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want a girl that any other guy's not trying to, like, I don't want a girl that can fend through an alley. That's hilarious. You know? Right. So, don't keep it on one side. Fight for both sides, you know? Fight for the other person in that. And that's a great example of, you know, if you're going to do a cheating bit, like, all right, the men cheat, but women, you too, you know? Yeah. Which that was just what I thought now that we got to break down. Like, okay, yeah, there's that side too. And don't forget about that.
That's one of the most compelling things you can do when you're presenting an argument is to succinctly present a counter argument that still makes your point.
Right. Like, you can't just come at jokes from the one side and then you come from the guy side, but then you come from the girl side, but then you come from the person they're cheating with side, and, you know, you come from all, exactly.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you can take, you know, any topic and break it down from any one of those angles plus other angles. I mean, there's so many different ways to break down a topic like this.
Absolutely.
Like, from the person who's doing it, from the person who got cheated on, from the person who they cheated on you with, to, like, I mean, you can go into, like, family and friends and, like, the dog's point of view. I mean, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The dog that, you know, has all the, and then you make the dog that has all the information and knows. Right. You know, the dog is that person that's watching the show. Yeah. And, you know, has all the answers. Like, you know, we watch Ozark and we're like, oh my God, what are they don't know that this person did this, you know, but yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was the best example for sure right there on a joke and breaking it down, what comics will have to, you know, because that joke, you know, for Patrice, it'd be, you know, it's cool to talk to comics that have those 5-minute, you know, plus and talk about, yo, where did that start? And they probably just thought it started with like a 10-second thought and then unraveled it.
Yeah. It's almost like a like one of those Russian nesting dolls where it's like, all right, here's the joke, but wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. Like,
there's more. Yeah, keep pulling it out. Yeah. A doll is nice. Like, you're just one doll, but then when it has the layers, you're like, ooh, this. These are popular. Everybody's gonna have one of these.
Like, how much smaller are these dolls gonna get?
Yeah, you keep going. Yeah.
And that's a great bit if you want to, like, as a comic, if you want to model something, like, how do I model that? It doesn't even have to be about cheating, but how do I model this 5-minute bit? You watch that, and because, like you said, he takes those different perspectives.
Yeah, and it just kept going. Like, you almost forget. Like, it's really about the same thing, but each thing feels like its own separate bit. You know, from the start to the dumpster to the boat to the alley, seems like 3 different, you know, jokes. But
yeah, and right now we're just talking about the writing aspect of it, not even the performance aspect of it.
Right.
Facial expressions to tone to pacing. I mean,
right. Yeah, for him to sit in that silence, I never realized how long he actually sat in that from like think about what cheating is to that. It's a good time. He sits there to go, cheating is for you, like and to build up that. Yeah, I think it's sure.
If he'd have dove right into that punchline right from the setup, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't have worked. The fact that he sat there confidently and calm and just let it sit there, and then it's perfect. That joke. Well, when you show the audience and it's the girls are laughing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't argue that, nobody can like, clip that now and go, oh, Patrice O'Neal's the cheater. And then, but look, you cut up, nobody can put that clip up on Twitter and just say Patrice O'Neal's this. And you're like, well, you obviously cut out the part where all the girls in the audience are like, moving their bodies, pushing their friends.
Plus, he's a comedian. He's making people laugh. Like people are like, is this serious? Is this serious? Stop. Yeah. Can you please stop taking everything so literally?
Absolutely.
Nuance again.
Right.
I mean, it's Patrice. I mean, what you're getting into when you watch a Patrice O'Neal bit.
Right.
I mean,
you should. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not just a nobody where it's like, I wonder what he's going to say. And you're on egg. Like, what you're getting yourself into, so you're a little more relaxed when you watch it.
Right. Yeah, you can almost look at it, but the perspective is like totally different, right? Like,
yeah. Like the reason that people are laughing at that stuff is the same reason that people might find it not funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
To take it too literally, it's like that's the point. That's why you laugh at things, because they're not right. That's what makes that's how his career was built, was on that principle.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah, it was great at that. Yeah, and to take a subject like that, that was a mass to watch. You're like, okay, if you're young, comic book, especially like myself, when you watch that and just sit in that silence, because when you bring up a subject, you want to rush through it. You're like, let me, okay, you don't want to talk fast. You want to yell to make it funny, and then you're like, nah, if you just sit in it.
Yeah, you got to sell it.
You got to sell it. You gotta sell it like you believe it, and he definitely believes it.
And that's even that pause, that silence that he's comfortable with. I mean, that just communicates to the audience that we're in good hands with this sensitive bit. Like, conveying that
and just letting you think about it, right? Like, if you bring it up, it is wild. Like a comedy show, when people say, like when you have long lineups and then by the end of the show, they're getting tired. But like, think about how many perspectives that the audience has had come at them, throughout the night. And their mindset has had to change from this person's life to this person's perspective. So for you to, sit in it and give them time to think and trust that they're listening, not all silences are bad,
right.
When you're doing comedy like that.
Right. And it's so easy to forget that on stage, because if there's silence, you almost want to fill it right away. Like,
absolutely.
You want to fill it.
Right.
And I love, the point that you make on a long lineup, there's all these different perspectives. And that's kind of like, that's sort of what I wanted to do with that Get COVID Out of Your System show was,
right.
What if we were all talking about the same thing? Like, I want to see how many different ways, because that's interesting to me.
Oh, for sure.
As a comic, as a human being, I love hearing different perspectives on the same topic.
Yeah. And it's a thing that like is COVID, because the whole world is going through it, but each person's experience of it is a little different, right? I think it's very cool. Like, you'll never be able to meet somebody across the world and not be able to talk to them about COVID, because it affected you,
Right.
Somebody, from Argentina, and go, yo, what was it like for you there?
As old as we feel like it is already, it's like, no, it's like extremely relatable. So we're going to have to joke about it when this is over.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Trump. It's like, it's getting old, but also like everybody can relate.
And I like realized, like, even watching some of the Gerard Carmichael show, but like he brought up Tiger Woods. I'm like, oh, you can still bring that up. You can still joke about that stuff that happened years ago. So COVID, you definitely. It would be weird being in the room, full of comics, and then just not talk about it.
Right.
Not talk about how everybody's distance, apart, and the waiters are wearing masks, and wiping down the mic between every set, and nobody brings up, this.
You have to. It's you're almost betraying the audience if you don't, because they're expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah, like kind of like you said, like if you go into Patrice, you kind of know what you're saying. If you're going into a comedy show now, you got to know that these jokes are coming. You can't go, oh man, I was trying to escape this.
You're not going to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah.
Laugh about it. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, think of every post you like saw about it. Yeah, nobody's making a joke.
Yeah, refusing to laugh about something. I mean, that's the worst thing that you can do. It's like, oh, I want to avoid it. It's like, no, you should laugh about it, even if you disagree with what the comic's saying. You know, they found it funny, and the people around you are finding it funny. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're just sitting there like, no, I wanted a joke about ducks and things and the toaster being, you know, and I wanted some Jerry Seinfeld up in here. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, could you imagine if Patrice were still alive and then he would come out with a special and he's got like Jeff Dunham puppets? Right, yeah, exactly. What? Yeah. I mean, that's that betrayal of trust, you know, if you're Patrice O'Neal, you know, you gotta, I mean, but he's being himself. I mean, he's very, throughout his career, he has shown that this bit that he did is very on par. It's on brand for what. Yeah,
absolutely. And this is something that's happened in his life. Like, you can't argue with it because he's actually might have experienced something like that or had enough, you know, things. Yeah, for sure. But like, especially like you knew like Chappelle was going to come up with something like that, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't be like, oh, Chappelle's next special will just be, you know, he was definitely going to talk about everything like that's been going on.
Mm-hmm. You know, some people are saying, oh, this is gonna kill comedy.
Right.
And here's my thing. Comedy is always adapting with the times.
Always, yeah.
Sure, it might, you know, some comics might quit, some clubs might close. But comedy is challenging the status quo.
Absolutely.
By its nature. It's taking what we see and asking why and challenging why that's true and asking why can't it be this? Or, you know, why can't it be that?
Right.
And so if comedy by its nature has to survive this, otherwise this has been an illusion. Like this.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. And it definitely will. And like you said, it definitely grows with the time. Like, man, I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon, which was a great show, but just, you know, the comedy back then, like if you did that now, people would be like, that's old and hacky. People wouldn't laugh. Like it's definitely just grown. But back then, murder. Right. Like, you know, like impressionists murdered back, you know, and now some impressionists, it's like, okay, you know, but it's not, but you know, and comedy has definitely always grown and come with, you know, and been ahead of, you know, what's been going on.
Speaking of like adapting with the times, going back to Patrice's set.
Yeah.
How do you, because there are some parts of it where nowadays I think they would get picked apart.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing. He makes guys out to be trash. He makes his initial point, you know, cheating is for you, which, you know, could be a controversial topic from some people's perspective. Yeah. Sure.
Well,
and then he does the lie detector thing. You know, if you ask a woman if Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise or whatever is right there, would you? And they would pass the test. And then a guy is like, what about that girl behind that dumpster?
Yeah.
So it's like,
oh, if you did the girl passed out behind the dumpster right now, it's over. You did that. Yeah. That example, you wouldn't fly. You wouldn't be able to get to the next, you know, 4 minutes of the joke because people would be not on your side, you know? So which is funny because like just like 2020, but back when, what was that? 2012, 2000, you know, that passed out girl behind the dumpster joke got laughs, man. Like that was the example. Yeah, it'd be interesting to think of what example he could use. You know, if a girl saw Brad Pitt, would she risk her family and stuff? If a guy saw, you couldn't even, you know, because you can't make it another celebrity. You can't go Jen Aniston or, you know, there's that's almost known that it's going to be seen. You have to do something that's just very, when they like you see that Starbucks girl or something, like you see.
Yeah. I mean, and I understand why he made that that comparison. Just, you know, he's punching down on dudes in general. Like, we'll take anything, kind of.
And it's just great from the biggest extreme, from Brad Pitt to a girl past below a dumpster is just the lowest a girl could be at, and Brad Pitt's the highest the dude could be at, right?
And he even
you have to do that big extreme in there.
Right. And he even takes that even further and saying, "Oh, you look cute with that garbage on you."
Yeah. Oh, she got garbage on that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he kind of introduces an aspect of silliness. No one would ever say that. So it's almost like, oh, he's joking.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
But
yeah, that example definitely wouldn't fly. But
no,
sure, if he would have, like, it's so weird. You're like I'm trying to even think of something, but if he was, if he was doing that bit, he would find something,
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And then, so he makes a controversial point, and then he punches down on dudes, and then the fishing
It's
metaphor. I mean,
so great. It's like one of the greatest.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's and it's hilarious because it's just one of those things like we've all gone through life and had these relationships or just seeing people, girls and guys, and just a fish that jumps back on the boat is hilarious. And it's so funny because that's something a girl would go, "I'm that fish that jumped on the boat," and like would laugh, and, one of the greatest for sure. It's so funny.
It is.
And it is true. Like, think about a girl and you show her the fish, like it's such a perfect metaphor for it. And you gotta find those in your jokes. And it's the perfect one. Fish and just flapping at me. And then why do you need a boat? Like a year later, well, why do you need a boat? And you're like, I got you with this boat. Yeah.
Right.
The only reason I'm with you is because
Right.
Yeah. And then there's something deeper too, like, he probably could have just explained, like, because you can just joke about it, but you can't explain it. But there is something deep about a guy like being able to attract a girl that's a little bit attractive at the same time. You might not want to admit it, but if your dude was not attractive, or like he does it with the girls in the alley, but like if your dude wasn't, somehow you wouldn't find him attractive anymore. So you need that boat because you need to realize that I can still catch fish.
Right.
And like he could explain that, but you got to just do the joke and you can't, but it was a good enough metaphor where you go, okay, I get that. That's funny. That's a funny part.
Right. Over explaining it would remind people what the joke is actually about, and what that metaphor does is it gets people to forget. And like you almost see yourself in the fish or the in a weird way. It works. And you're right. You get into a relationship, you get comfortable, like, and then you lose out on that like initial attraction.
Absolutely. So you need to have that like, oh, I got him. Like I got her. So, and then he puts it perfectly. He's like, I wouldn't want a girl that no other guy's trying to fuck. That's hilarious.
Right. And he's not advocating at any point, but he's just presenting.
He's not going. I hope my girl's out there fucking on me while I'm taping this special. But he's going. The alley. It's perfect. I talk to the junkies. They don't like you. That's hilarious.
Nobody wants that. No, that's such a good bit. And so Patrice, man, I mean, there are so many bits of his we could break down as far as joke writing, as far as performance. But his act out as the fish kind of introduces this. So it's like, this is harmless.
Just the shaking is perfect.
It's subtle, he doesn't like go, crazy.
And the wide eyes too, like the wide-eyed fish that doesn't blink but just looking at you, staring at you and doesn't blink. And so you're gonna be fishing here next week,
right?
So good.
For other fish.
Get off my boat. It's so good.
So that's a good, I guess, argument for not for cheating, but from that perspective. And then
I think it's like one of those taboo things that you don't talk about, but realize it's out there in every like relationship. Like if you're in a relationship long time and you haven't like talked about it or anything, like he goes on to talk about like, girls, if you just told your guy, hey, thank you for not cheating, he would go, wow, okay, But I think it's a taboo thing where, it's a great bit.
You crossed the line.
The next bit is from the other point of view, from getting cheated on.
Right.
And I mean, it's a longer bit. I have it broken down because he's almost making another joke before he gets into this bit. But this is Drew Michael from his Comedy Central half hour.
Cheated on before. It's not good. It lives up to the hype, you know? Cheating, it's not, it brings up just a trust and abandonment issues, just like it's bad. And I told her, I said, I think this is a deal breaker for me. I think this is it. And she said something I think a lot of people say after they cheat. She said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I made one mistake. Like, can you just forgive my one mistake? Like, I love you. Can we get past this one mistake? Can we work through this one mistake? Just forgive this one mistake. It's like, one mistake? How is cheating one mistake? Cheating is like 50 mistakes in a row. One mistake is like you take someone else's coat by accident. That's one mistake. You add the tip wrong on a credit card receipt. That's one mistake. Cheating is a complex algorithm of steps. All the steps are necessary in order to pull off the task of cheating. Right? You know how easy it is not to somebody? Like, I have not almost every person ever. Like, it's pretty easy. Like, cheating is not one mistake. It's a series of mistakes you made in succession. You texted him, you met him at a bar, you got drinks with him, you got too many drinks with him, you went back to his apartment, you laid down on his bed, you made out with him, you took off his clothes, you took off your clothes, you got his dick hard, you got your pussy wet, you used it to his dick over and over and over until it on to you, and then you were like, oh, whoops, no. How is that one mistake? What, did you slip and all that stuff just happened? Like, you can't, that's a process. You cannot say a whole process is one mistake. Nobody ever bakes a cake, gets all the ingredients from the store, follows the recipe step by step, puts it into the oven, takes it out, and is like, oh shit, a cake. I meant to do my taxes. Like, you can't mail the IRS a bundt cake. They're gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Sorry, I made one mistake.
What are your reactions to that bit on how he makes such a heartbreaking topic funny?
The performance of it, the hand on the fucking over is really strong. Like, you definitely watch it when he goes the hand and he uses it to replicate the fun. It's good. But I think, it's a great bit because he lets you know that he's in it. So you definitely feel him, like a dude that's been cheated on, right? And I like the fact to just take, you could go, like, so, but just to take that one thing she said, the one mistake, like the cheating, and she cheated on me, and then she said, oh, it's one mistake, and he could have, like, you could go a different way, but to focus on that and make a joke about even the word, the phrase one mistake is, so funny and so smart to go after, and go, one mistake, and you're like, this isn't, just to let you guys know this isn't just one mistake. I think the wording, the writing of it to repeat one mistake is smart, and then to go into it, and then again, the one mistake and go whoops, right? And again, the writing is good because he goes past that with the perfect metaphor of the cake, but you could stop, like, and when you're like, sometimes you're doing jokes, you could stop right at whoops, like, and the joke is, it's all right, but it takes it to another level when you do the metaphor about I meant the cake, and then to take it a step further to go, I sent the cake to the IRS, and I was like, oh, one mistake, it's perfect, that's why you get that girl going,
It's like the difference between like manslaughter and premeditated murder.
Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't like, oh fuck, shit, especially with a bolt action rifle.
One mistake.
You gotta go.
Too soon.
And you made the point of the reiteration, the one mistake. He's telling you what's funny about the joke. Like,
right.
What's funny isn't the fact that he got cheated on. That, he brings up the pain and the anger, not by saying I'm angry and it hurt. I mean, he said at the beginning, it's bad.
Right.
that's it. He, like you said, with his hand motions and the speed at which he
Right. Right.
made
And
it
that's
point.
such a great comic way to go. Like just a comic's way of thinking even is that the fact like, all right, you cheated on me. But know what I'm even more pissed about a little bit is the fact that your excuse to the cheating. The cheating hurts and it sucks. But the excuse is what a comic would focus on and go, I'm going to make fun of that fucking excuse. What the fuck is that excuse, you know?
Yeah.
I broke up with her because she makes stupid excuses like that. You know, cheating on me, we could have maybe got over that, but that excuse, fuck, one mistake.
And and then he breaks down the process. I love how Comedy Central censors fuck but not pussy, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
you can choose. Come on.
Whatever.
Words are words, but that's not the point of this. The way he conveys his anger it just adds to the joke.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you take away from the joke if you were to tell people how your emotions are, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're always just taking that step further, you know, with explaining it. Boom, you got that joke, a comparison, boom, and then, you know, a nice little cherry on top is sending that to the IRS.
Right.
The cake just being in it, people are like, oh, he got cheated on, but yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the cake metaphor. And then, oh no, a cake? Like I meant to do my taxes. It's such an absurd reference.
Right.
He could have been like, oh, I meant to make, like a pie. That's too close to it.
Right.
It's that jump that's.
And I think, that's when you're in these jokes that are like, could be tough and could be, you got to find the ridiculousness, right? Mm-hmm. So Patrice does it with a girl behind a dumpster, the trash on her head, the ridiculous, funny, a cake, I meant to do my taxes. Just the ridiculousness of it is what turns it into a great, joke. And sometimes you lose that, when you're trying to like make this point about cheating or something like that you got to always remember to, bring that, be a comic, be a funny person, find the ridiculousness and
And then, I wish, I had Amir to ask the question, like, how many different things did you go through until landing on do my taxes?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's when the crafting of the joke is really, because, to talk to him about how did it start? Well, obviously it started with my girlfriend cheating on me, but other than that, the joke, how long did it take? Did it take 6 months to really get to what it is now?
Right.
It could have been, that's where you get, it's hard when people, that aren't comics, ask you all these, jokes, so, they don't understand. Oh, that joke started like, she just said one mistake. That's not one mistake. Yeah. And then he just kept going and, and other comics may have came up to him after shows and, that's so funny. That's like, and he could have, had somebody like help, like give him a little take for it that like, when somebody comes with a different, because they're not attached to it, like he's definitely in it. And I bet like he's a comic that he got cheated on and probably went to a comedy show that night.
Yeah.
And went up on stage. And then somebody who didn't get cheated on it, just thinking about how they can turn into a joke comes up and goes, yo, Drew, man, that's funny. That you got to do a comparison or you got to, that's not one mistake. That's 50 or something like that. And he goes, oh, fuck. And then he, can take that.
I love that. I love when something happens to me and then I just riff on it that night and maybe get like one laugh or as long as I get people like nodding along with me, I'm cool with that.
You need that reassurance. You're like, okay, every joke starts with, you just need that something that tells you it's something.
Yeah. Right.
You just need that little chuckle or something that you go, oh, okay, that's something. I thought that was nothing, but it's everything.
Right. Now, as a comic, I've met comics that are resistant to feedback, and I've met comics that are just like, give me all the tags.
Right.
Like, I'm one of them, man. I love when people come up to me and say, if you were to add this, it could make it funnier. If you were to do this different, right. Because I'm so focused on making it funny in the first place, taking what I think is funny and trying to find a way to communicate that with other people, that I almost missed out on some of those nuances. So like, as far as You know, are you pretty open to that? You know,
I think I'm open to it, and also the trash when it comes to your door, right? Like when a comic like gives something, you're like, oh, okay, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're great, but like people can come to you and could come to me and like, here's the tag, and I've had those, and I'm like, oh, that definitely helped take it further, because sometimes you are almost too close to it. You're in the whatever, you're in the forest, you can't see the trees, whatever.
Right.
But so some comic just comes at it because they're just looking at it as a joke. Really, when you're thinking about your jokes, you're thinking about, oh man, I'm trying to say this, and you're trying to craft this thing, and you're too closer than somebody comes and goes at it just as a joke and gives you a little thing. So I take them and they help, and like you add to it, and then they add to it, and then you add to that, right? And then you have your bit, and then you go and you keep saying it night after night. And it grows into something else. And then sometimes people come up to you and it's like, nah, or it's the lamest thing, or it's the hackiest thing. And you're like, well, I'm not going to use that, but appreciate it. Yeah, I don't want to shut down comics, but I get it,
Right.
Comics don't. But man, I think I've seen it be a detriment to some comics, man. Like I have a friend that I started out with, and he wouldn't take nothing. And I think it hurt him more than it would help him, because he had the ideas, but he just couldn't find the things. And I'm like, yo, if you did this, and I think that helps, especially when you're starting out, just to get up there and start making people laugh with jokes helps a lot, because that will lead to other shows, and it will lead to better shows. And then you'll be able to find your own voice in yourself. But when you're starting out, you don't have it. So if you think, nah, I'm just going to keep it to my voice, or my perspective, but you haven't lived a lot now. You're young, or however old you start, but if you're still in your 20s, you're still young. In comedy, you probably haven't had a bunch of different perspectives, but now you're in comedy and you're friends with people you would never be friends with outside of comedy, that are going to come with different perspectives and give you, an idea on a joke, right? So, I think you got to be open to it and just take it and get that laugh on stage, especially if you're like starting out and young. Just get those laughs on stage, and you'll feel good. And then, as you're up on stage, you'll get more confidence, and then your own writing will come, and maybe you won't need to use people's suggestions as much.
You can't laugh at that.
But I think the most important thing is that the cheating itself isn't funny.
Right.
I mean, when we say that anything can be funny, it's not always necessarily that thing itself. Like we did a show about suicide. We did a show, about death, about, school shootings. Like the thing itself isn't funny. And that's the thing that a lot of non-comics don't realize, that we're not joking about the thing itself.
Right.
At least good comics aren't.
That's a great point. Yeah. You're not joking about the thing itself. It's that ridiculousness around it. It's that one mistake. It's that the reason why you're in a relationship in the first place is because and that's a great point, that you're not joking about cheating itself, but there's things around it, the ridiculousness. This world is small and sometimes insignificant, so you got to find that ridiculousness in it. And that's what comics are trying to do.
Finding the funny in the outlying details that make the big thing, which in this case would be cheating, funny.
Right.
But again, we're not laughing at that specifically.
And if anybody was in the audience fresh and got cheated on, you're not making fun of them. You're not making them feel maybe smaller than they are, or trying to embarrass them. You're like, nah, I'm just trying to.
Right. My hope is that you find some levity in whatever circumstance you find yourself in,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Through this new perspective. Because I mean, if you can make somebody laugh about something, like you've in essence shifted their perspective, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As soon as they crack a smile or, giggle or like full of laughter. Yeah, for sure.
We met at the Cleveland Comedy Festival last year. And, I found your stuff really, really funny. You had a bit about wolves in Ontario, and that was like, it made me laugh. And I was like, this dude, knows his shit. And then we did the COVID show, and you had those like books behind you, those like comic books.
I try to, when you're doing all these, things, you're trying to find somebody got a cool background. So you're like, let me pull out my comic books. Now I'm just, in my bathroom, just in front of this. But I had the books.
I was wondering where you were.
It
was like almost like a lineup.
It's
like a station.
Ship lap. We put in a ship. This is hooks for clothes or towels or whatnot and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Now, as far as like writing comedy, did you just go into it? Did you just start, or did you read up on it first? Did you like get the research?
Yeah, I think you definitely get that research, like read whatever there is, right? Like I read like that, Chris Rock said that he was in a comedy club for, 14 years straight, like every day. And, you read those, but then, you just really, there's a lot of stuff out there, man. Yeah. Like a lot of comics on interviews and stuff. And you just start listening to all of that and you kind of get an idea, okay, it's going to be a long road. It's going to be, I guess it's going to be lonely at some times. It might be, it's going to be hard and there's going to be, but it's going to be. So then you kind of have an understanding of that and you never know. And you're like, all right, everybody's journey is different, and comedy is no blueprint. You just got to do it and try to be funny and try to be a good person. And then, you just step on stage and you realize, oh man, this is what I want to do. And you just keep going at it and, keep doing things. And you're like, okay, after a while, you're like, all right, let me go to Cleveland. Let me apply to this festival. Let me go down there and realize. And then you learn things as you go, right? You're always learning, like, definitely, like, the more you do it, it is like you are your own business. It is like a funny business. It is business funny. You gotta network with people. Comics run more shows than people. So I'm like, comics won't put you on a show if they don't like you, and they won't. And these. And it's just those opportunities to get on stage, to tell your jokes, to learn from that set and move forward. And, and you want more people in the audience, so if somebody's got a good show, you just better. So then you just learn as you go. And then the writing, just I kind of, figure it out on stage. Like I'll have an idea. And then, I like to try to do as many sets as I can, even if it's a shitty open mic, just to kind of say it into a mic, a word out loud. And then, so it's one of those things where, like, you say it on stage and then you get off stage and your mind goes, yo, you could have said this. Or, another comic comes up and goes, hey, you could take this way. Or even somebody comes up and goes, yo, that's funny. Then you go, okay, there's something there. And you move forward. So, like, I'll jot down like little notes, like, dash notes, but not full write outs or anything. And I've tried, like, everything but I don't know, sitting down and just writing the whole bit out for me just felt like almost like homework. And like, if I didn't come away from it, then I failed. Right. And then I'm like looking at nothing came out of it. But then I know some comics that are great writers that do, and you got to figure out your own way of doing it. And like, just kind of figured out on stage and jotting down some notes, or like, or when your mind's thinking about it late at night or before bed or in the afternoon, just jot that down and, take a peek at it and then step on stage with it. So that's been the process, but it's been, good. And it's been like 7 years, and just, keep going and realize what it is and keep going.
Yeah, that's a good note. I mean, you always got to be on. You always got to be ready to take that spark of inspiration.
Sometimes your mind just, you find yourself like, if you it's like you can't force it, but if you just sit there and your mind goes, you're like, okay, jot that down. But then you're like, it's weird with COVID, you can have those thoughts and then not have a stage to do it on. That's when it first kind of started. I was like, okay, I'll just take this time. It's not like I'm stopping. It's the whole world. Every comic in the world is stopped. So
even playing field there.
Yeah. Because there's that little bit of comedy is like, oh man, that person quit, or that you didn't do a set in how long, but now it's like everybody. So you're like, okay, I cannot do comedy for a few months, because everybody has to stop. And But it's been good that things are kind of popping back up and stuff. And that was good that, like, when you asked me to do the COVID show, I think that was the first one. I was like, oh shit, I gotta try to come up with something now, and like, you know. And then I was like, oh, hey, what is it? So I kind of really took an older joke, and put it into new times, right?
Right. That's always an option.
Yeah.
As a performer, you know, I mean, you can, you know, there's no old material that's ever off limits to me, you know. There can always be a context where it works. Or maybe I wasn't that good of a writer at that time and I can bring it back.
Laughing.
As far as just wrapping this up, the topic of cheating, is there any other point of view that you wanted to dive into, or any notes or any advice for anybody who's like writing a joke about something, like let's say it happened to them or they know somebody that it happened to, or so on? Like, what would you say?
Like end notes would just be kind of like a reiteration of what we've been saying this whole time, is, you know, just to find that ridiculousness in it, you know, and the things around, like you said, that are around it, not the actual thing. And then, and always try to keep, like, you might find that first tag, but always try to go back, try to find a metaphor, you know, those are always great. And, you know, if you find one that's great, it's brilliant. And if, you know, and everything relates in life a little bit somehow. So if you can find it, like a cake and a iris, or a boat and fish, it's, you know, amazing. And then take it a step further. So I think, just don't be satisfied with that first little bit. And then always, when you're talking about these taboo subjects, just try to find the ridiculousness in it, and have fun. Because, you know, if you feel uncomfortable out there, the audience is going to feel uncomfortable. If you don't trust yourself, they don't trust you. And,
right.
You know, and make sure what you're talking about, you know, is like, you know, something that that's been in your mind a lot, that you've been like, all right, I got to get this out in a joke form, or you've been through in life. Because, you know, now people want authentic. You can feel it more, right? Like, you know, people, when you're telling bullshit up there, people know.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Cool, man. Thanks for taking the time to jump on this podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Where can we find you on social media?
I'm like Instagram, it's Michael Moses, ITS Michael Moses, and like Facebook Michael Moses, and then like trying to like you had that clip on the YouTube, and you know, you see how that's been catching on. So I've just been trying to put more clips up on YouTube, and you know, I don't have enough followers to have the YouTube / Michael Moses, but we're hoping to get there. So searching Michael Moses to the search bar, and you know, hit subscribe. That would be appreciated. But
and you can find that.
No problem.
Yeah, you can find that Wolves joke.
That Wolf joke is on there. So
if you want to know what we're talking about, check it out. It's a great joke.
Thanks, bro.
For sure, man.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. It's good.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing the evolution and the additions to that cheating game.
I'll have to. Yeah, this was a great reminder to go. All right, keep working on it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to follow up with us and let us know how.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anytime you get down to the States when it's safe again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
As always, you know, we've no matter if it hurts you, if it hurts someone else, there is a way to laugh at that. Also, special thanks to Jeremy Demery and Golden Ox Studios for always crushing it on the production standpoint. For your podcasting and streaming needs, visit goldenoxstudios.com and check that out. So, got to plug that for sure. All right.
Yes.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
If you'd like to weigh in on today's topic, follow us on Twitter at YouCan'tLaughPod, or like us on Facebook at You Can't Laugh at That, and tell us how you did laugh at today's topic or how you didn't. This is all about the conversation, is what I'm saying. All right. Bye.